What's up guys? Today I'm going to show you how to take that Stretch-Hesi next level with some crazy remixes. And then I'm also going to give you tips so you can master them more quickly so you're not just kind of on your own. I'm going to give you some really simple tweaks you can add to them to make them a little bit easier for you to put into your game. Coach Jesse Muench here with Get Handles Basketball, where we train harder and smarter so you can play like the pros. If that's something you're looking to do, make sure you click that subscribe button and that bell icon to get all notifications so you can catch the newest videos and continue to improve your game. And if there's any other part of your game you're looking to improve, check out my channel. I got hundreds of videos, but if I don't have a video on it, leave me a comment. I'll try to get you one. Here is what we're going to be doing for Stretch-Hesi Variations. We're going to work on adding different moves to the end. So in the last video, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to have it linked in the description down below. It'll be the top link. But the Stretch-Hesi, basically we came from that, bringing it out, bringing it in, and then either driving or going into different types of crossovers. Then I gave you some little things you could add in between there as well. All those things can pretty much be added into this, but I want to give you some next level things that you could do. So you can bring it from extended and either bring your body towards the basketball or the basketball towards your body. And then from there, here's the first variation I'm going to give you, going into the inside out. So a lot happening in that dribble. You really need to be able to get some air time on that dribble. I'm going to give you a tip that's going to help you with that at the end of the video here. But when you're doing it, you just want to come from here, bring it in tight. You probably won't want to bring it back out again. You probably won't have the air time to do that. So bring it from in tight, and then go right into that in and out. So here, boom, stepping with that opposite foot a little bit to sell that fake, and then get the ball back in the same hand. Another crazy variation you could do is come from that Stretch-Hesi, go into between the legs. So here, boom, here. And you could even add that little extension at the end if you wanted to too, if you got the air time to get that kind of a dribble off. Again, I'm gonna have tips for that near the end of the video. Another variation you could do, boom, boom, go into reverse between the legs. So coming from the back, you could do that kind of as a snatch back to send your defender flying. The regular between the legs is good for maybe juking them out that way and then coming this way, or to just quickly drop down and explode past them if you see they're trying to close the gap on you or you kind of put them to sleep. Another variation, come from extended, tight, behind the back. Or boom, boom, bring it back out into that stretch again. So stretch, tight, stretch, behind the back to sell the fake. That's a, what is that, fourth variation. And then the final two variations are going to be a little bit more difficult and a little bit more flashy, so your coach might not like these, but you could definitely do them in more pickup basketball. Your coach might even be okay with them. I guess it just depends on your coach. So you're going to start with the basketball a little bit loose again, right? Bring it in tight. From there, you could bring it long again and stretch it out, but typically you'll probably find it works better and you'll get it down easier if you just keep it tight and go right into that spin move. As you pull it in, continue to pull it in tight and then come into that spin, and then you can extend it back out to add that little stretch from the spin if you want, or if the game situation calls for it, you can keep the ball tight. Read what the best option is in the game. And then the last variation I got for you, and then I'm going to give you tips for all those variations to get them down quicker, is to go into a sham guy. So boom, boom, pushing it out into that second stretch. So stretch, bring it in tight, stretch, other hand comes over the top of the basketball like this and pulls it out. So you're just going to switch hands. A little step with this foot will help sell that fake too. So boom, boom, boom. Now let's talk about tips to get these down more quickly. Click that like button if you dug those variations. I'm going to give you some tips right now to help master those variations. One of the biggest ones I can give you is to work on getting more air time on that dribble without carrying the basketball. I'm going to link to you at the end of the video another video that's going to show you what a carry is and what it's not, and also a technique to get that kind of air time on your dribbles without carrying. The first variation I gave you was the inside out, right? So the key tips I want to give you on this is typically you don't want to extend the ball out and have it stretched out and then bring it in tight and try to do it wide again. Like, that's a lot of air time in one dribble. Maybe as you get a little more advanced you can get to that point where you can do that without carrying, but I would recommend doing it coming tight to your body, right next to your hip, and then just going right into the in and out from there. Besides that, focus on your hand positioning. When you pull it in, for a lot of these, you want your hand on the outside of the basketball, because if you're going to go into a crossover, now you can quickly push it into the crossover. Or for your in and out, you can quickly come from here to help sell the fake, push the ball this way a little more, and then rotate your hand over the top of the basketball to pull it back out. So here, boom. And the other thing is try to synchronize this step with the ball movement. So as the ball's coming across, my foot comes across, so that really helps sell that fake. So boom, boom. See how it all moves smooth at the same time? That's a big key. For the between the legs, again, you could go from stretched out to tight to extend, and then to go between the legs, again, focus on that hand positioning, being more on the outside of the basketball, not so much behind the basketball like this. Get it a little more to the side, just not under, so it's not a carry, and that'll allow you to go into that more quickly. Same thing for that reverse between the legs. With that one, you'll probably want to extend the ball out a little bit more typically to help sell that fake. And besides that, keeping the hand on the outside of the basketball, maybe a little bit more in front of it for this one, will help you pull it back into that snatch back. For the between the legs, keep it more directly on the side to push it more sideways. For the behind the back, same positioning pretty much as for the between the legs. Keep your hand on the outside of the basketball. Just as you're going from this here, think about keeping your hands just a little bit more in front of the basketball so you can pull it back behind your back, and then quickly transition that hand positioning to be more on the side so you can push it directly sideways behind the back. And then the last two, the spin move and the sham god. The spin move, when you pull it in, try to keep your hand more on top of the basketball for this variation, and maybe even slightly in front as it comes tight. Because what that's going to allow you to do is go right into the spin move quicker. Because when you do your spin, this is the hand position you're going to be in. So if you put your hand in that position as you're pulling it in tight, now you're ready to go into that spin more quickly. One other thing that'll help take it next level for gains is stepping with this opposite foot towards your defender and slightly across your body. And you'll see what that does is puts you part of the way into the spin. And then once the ball gets in tight here, it's well protected from your defender. You want to be close to your defender for this to work. And then pull the ball back. Okay, whichever side hand is dribbling, that same foot would come back. So stepping forward with that opposite foot, pulling back with the same side foot after that. The sham god actually won't be as difficult if you just focus on your hand positioning. When you pull it back in, keep your hand more on top of the basketball and behind it like this, almost like your shooting position. And from there, just push it straight back out. If you focus on that hand positioning, that one will actually probably be one of the easier ones to get down because you don't really need to control it around your body and worry about hitting your legs or any of that kind of stuff like you would. Even like with an in and out, you could hit your leg. Between the legs, you could hit your leg. Behind the back, you could hit your butt, right, or one of your legs. This one, you're pushing it out in open space, so that'll make it a little bit easier. So a couple tips to help you so you don't hit your legs on those dribbles between the legs, inside out, behind the back, all that stuff, is number one, focus when you're doing your dribbles to pick a body part to tap. I'm going to give you a little bit more specifics for each move because it's going to depend on the move in a second. And then also for pretty much all of them, if you can get that hand low on the release, you'll be much more accurate with where you're directing the basketball. Because if I release the basketball, let's say, just even on my regular between the legs, not even trying to add that extra Stretch-Hesi to the beginning, and I release it way up here, there's a really good chance that it's going to hit my leg. But if I release it down low, I can direct it right through this little gap between my legs a lot more easily. Same thing with the reverse between the legs. I can direct it through if I release with my hand lower, but if I release it up high, I can hit those legs a lot more easily. Same with the behind the back. If I release up high, I could hit my leg, my butt, whatever. So you want to try to get that hand release low, and then get the second hand on your crossovers waiting low to catch it. That'll give you more control over the basketball. Now the tapping a body part thing. The thing I like to focus on is for like the between the legs, I'll slap under the opposite side leg hamstring, like on the back of the knee here. And I know that basketball is going to end up in the same spot every single time. And since I'm doing that, I'm also releasing low. I'm swinging my arm through my legs. If I curl my hands onto that leg on the release, so I know it's going to go through every single time. If you add that in, it'll make it a lot more easy. Same thing with your reverse between the legs. You'll just switch to do it on the same side leg. Slap the back of the knee there with the same side hand as the leg that's forward. Behind the back, slap the same side butt if you want to make it more of a flat back behind the back where you're kind of just moving the ball side to side. Or if you want to wrap it more forward, wrap and touch the opposite side butt. That'll give you a little bit better control over it. And then for the inside out, it's all about getting a nice low release point and just focusing on where this knee on the same side leg is, because sometimes you might hit that knee if you don't get that release low enough and position the basketball so it's coming in front of that foot and slightly outside of it when it bounces. The spin move, you shouldn't probably hit your body. Sham got should be a pretty big piece of cake. Now the video I told you I was gonna have for you that's gonna help you get rid of carrying the basketball and give you the air time you need to do these dribble moves is right here. Just click that video. That's going to give you a bunch of secrets. Click that like button, the subscribe button, and that bell icon so you can catch all the newest videos, and I'll see you in this next video.